color red is shown to increase the yields of not just your tomatoes, but your cucumbers, your eggplants, your squash, literally a whole bunch of different things. Let's dive into the science of why and if it actually makes a difference. This is the color red. For anyone that's colorblind, I know some of the geek crew might be, particularly the men. I don't know why God gave you that talent, but I digress. By the way, if you're colorblind, what does my hair color look like to you? Out of curiosity, like, do I have green hair? So red claims to not only give you a bigger harvest, but a harvest that happens a little bit sooner. And this is in particular when you're using red mulch. So something that is on the ground that reflects the light of red up onto your plant. Like I said, the options are kind of like that plastic red mulch. You've got like these red mulch discs. I'm sure there's like so many different versions of this on the internet, but it's just red. And it doesn't have to be a particular shade of red. It's just red because red reflects or refracts. Is it reflects or refract? I would say it's refract. I feel like it's refracts red light and absorbs blue and green light. So what does red light mean for plants? Shockingly enough, kind of coincides with the theory of increasing harvest and or speeding up the time in which harvest happens and increasing just harvest in general, because red light is responsible for flowers and budding. Okay, so I want to read this off my phone because I don't want to actually screw it up because to me, it holds some value. So the USDA and the Clemson University both noted that it increased the yields of tomatoes by 20%. It increased the surface area, aka the volume of leaves in basil, which kind of goes against what we were talking about when it comes to red mulch. And it was noted, now this is qualitative, so you can only take that data so far because this would have been people tasting it and then saying, this is better. It was blind, so they didn't know what they were tasting and why it was different, but they just know that it was different. And that is strawberries. Strawberries had a different texture, a different taste, a different smell. Kind of cool, but again, qualitative. What I do think would have been neat is if they would have done a Brix value on the strawberries, but I didn't see a Brix value, which makes me think that they probably didn't do it, but that would have been cool. And the Penn State University found that it increases yields of tomatoes and eggplants on red mulch compared to black mulch. So they always compared it against a mulch. There wasn't many that had like the control being just soil, because black or red. Penn State also found only a 12% increase in tomato yields, but it did find a decrease, particularly in the cases of early blight. So if you suffer from early blight, I hear, and most people in the prairie suffer from late blight, but if you suffer from early blight, definitely something you could. There are variables to consider when using this red mulch product, and that is the product itself. What is it made out of? How thick is it? How thick of a layer are you providing? Kind of all that sort of stuff. So obviously all of these can change the results of the red mulch. I would say that this also isn't super conclusive in the sense that it's an absolute fact that red is better for fruiting, flowering plants. I wouldn't say that that's the case either. However, Geek Crew, what I will say is that as a Geek Crew member, it is fully expected that you become a garden heretic and you at least go try it to see what happens. Now, I personally have put the red mulch in various different places in the garden. The one, so obviously I didn't put down the giant sheet of it, not because I don't want to be a garden heretic. Don't kick me out of the Geek Crew, please. But what I will say is I did put it in some of my containers. The reason for that actually comes down to the fact that my husband helps me water a lot of my plants because your girl's got a lot of them, like a lot of plants. And he's not particularly gentle when it comes to exposing the soil to high pressured water, aka right out of the nozzle. And so I often find that anything that has roots that can be exposed easily, such as things in peat, I need to put some sort of protective layer. So I've used a combination of like these hemp mulch pad things and then just these red discs that literally had nothing to do with the fact that they were red, but had everything to do with the fact that my husband couldn't destroy my roots on my tomatoes when they were in place. So that is why they are there. I will say, and this is qualitative, but my tomatoes that are being grown in the red disc ones, are drastically bigger than the ones that I have growing in just my raised beds. And that goes for both sets of raised beds and shockingly enough, they're actually bigger than the ones that are grown in pots, same brand, same size, same soil, everything. They're bigger. Now, the reason why I say this is qualitative, I'm not going to lean into it and say it's for sure, is actually because these plants are also around my fire pit. And up until the fire ban, I had an addiction to fire. It's how I keep my hair red. And so we were having lots of like marshmallow roasts and hot dog roasts and that sort of thing. It resulted in some heat, both of the ground and the surrounding area. And then there's always going to be some heat that's thrown off throughout the night. So I wonder if they maybe just stayed warmer during the nighttime hours, but it's just interesting thing to think about. The fact that universities, the USDA, that sort of thing has looked into it intrigues me. Do I think you need to run out and grab red mulch? No, I don't think it's a make it or break it for your tomato yields, but I think it's a cool concept that you could definitely try out and just see if it changes the speed in which you harvest. If you want to learn more on the depth you should plant tomatoes, which is oddly controversial, this video here, and this is the video that Google says you should watch. So just go watch it because they're watching you. Look at it. I'm not sponsored. I'll try to put an Amazon link down below because then I can get an affiliate cash money. By the way, Priscilla is in the way. Priscilla is my antique car that I love and adore. It's a Parisienne, Pontiac Parisienne 1965. If you see me cruising around in that or my Jeep in Saskatchewan, say hi. I may or may not be broken on the side of the road because both of them tend to give me some grief, despite the fact that my Jeep is relatively new, and by relatively new I mean 10 years old.